The Coyote Twin, Vermilion's downtown theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
Tonight on Coyote News, we'll have an update on the new Opportunity Center.
And the Coyotes celebrate their win into the Sweet 16. It's all happening now on Coyote News.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Good evening, I'm Philip Larson.
And I'm Sydney Funderman. We'll hear those stories soon, but first, USD is currently in the process of hiring new directors for the Opportunity Center and the Office of Multicultural Affairs. The Office of Multicultural Affairs Director will help student organizations host events they have traditionally done in the past. The Opportunity Center Director will help students feel more comfortable on campus, according to Laura McNaughton.
This will be a space for students to find what they need to be successful. If they're having trouble with classes, they can find tutors. If they're having trouble fitting in, they can find student groups that they can join.
The finalists for the new directors of the Opportunity Center and the Office of Multicultural Affairs were announced on Monday. The finalists are Dr. Isaiah Cohen, a current sociology professor on campus, Jordan Bonstrom, who is the Director of Students' Rights and Responsibilities, and Sarah Earle of Northeast University. There will be public on-campus interviews for each of the finalists tomorrow, Friday, and next Monday. Check out Coyote News' Twitter page for the times and details.
On Monday, Coyote fans of all ages lined the streets of Vermilion to welcome home the Coyote women's basketball team. After securing their first NCAA tournament win in program history, the Coyotes went on to defeat the number 2 seeded Baylor Bears on Sunday. The team received a warm welcome back to Vermilion, where fans say they are thankful the ladies are putting Vermilion in the national spotlight. The Coyote women are looking to upset number 3 seeded Michigan Saturday at 5:30. Coming up, how students are showcasing their talents on campus.
Plus, a recap of yesterday's Jazz Festival. Stay with us.
The Student Government Association is a great way for students to actually impact on what happens to campus or make a meaningful change through legislation and SGA.
This is Coyote News.
The theater department hosted their annual Ron L. Moyer One-Act Festival prior to spring break. The festival consisted of 4 plays that were each 15 minutes long. The one-acts were directed by advanced undergraduate and graduate directing students. Mickey Morstad is one of these students and says that directing one-acts is like having a one-person show.
We're all the directors, but we also did the full designs for our shows. Obviously, we had some help from people, but a lot of it was left up to us, and that can sometimes happen to you out in the real world.
All 4 directors agreed that each one act was unique and emotional for the crowds. The department is planning to host the festival again next year. Yesterday, USD hosted their annual jazz competition. Hosted in the Warren M. Lee Fine Arts Center in Knudsen Theater and Colton Hall, jazz ensembles in Class A, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A competed. Class 3A and Class A started the competition in the morning with the rest to follow. USD's jazz band even joined in twice throughout the day. Across campus at Old Main, jazz choirs took the stage in Farber Hall. Schools from Iowa, Nebraska, and South Dakota attended this event that has been going on for 46 years. 2 years ago, the competition was canceled due to the COVID-19 outbreak. This competition was started by retired and now past USD professor Larry Mitchell. Approximately 10 music faculty and 60 USD students were involved in helping set up the competition. These competitions are a great way to get high school students on campus and active in our music programs, Dr. David Holdhusen, a vocal director at USD, says.
The competition ended with awards for all classes and performances at the end of the day.
The legislative session wrapped up its last day just before spring break. Here's a quick recap of the bills impacting USD's community. Senate Bill 46 mandates K-12 schools, universities, and other activity associations to designate sports as either male or female based on the sex listed on a student's birth certificate. It also says only female students may participate in any team, sport, or athletic event designated as being for females, women, or girls. Senate Bill 154 lowers the GPA requirement for the Freedom Scholarship from 2.5 to 2.0. It also clarifies language about other performance requirements and enrollment in the scholarship. House Bill 1209 gives $2 million to the National Music Museum for educational exhibits and security for the instruments housed there, as well as to finish other renovations. And finally, House Bill 1012 outlines divisive concepts institutions aren't allowed to promote through orientations, trainings, or professional development opportunities. These include labeling certain groups or people as inherently racist or sexist, directing students to feel uncomfortable based on their race, color, religion, sex, ethnicity, or national origin. This does not apply to class curriculums.
Coyote News' Kate Cromer is live in the muck with Coyote News' special legislative reporter, Kyle Ireland, to discuss the impact on these bills on campus and wants to watch for the upcoming veto day on Monday. Kate?
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here live in the muck with Coyote News' legislative reporter, Kyle Ireland. Now, there were numerous bills passed this legislative session that directly affect the South Dakota border region. So what changes can students expect to see this next school year with these bills in place?
So next school year, students may not necessarily see a direct impact unless they are a recipient of the Freedom Scholarship. So for the Freedom Scholarship, it's the only state-based state needs-based scholarship. And so in order to maintain the scholarship, it used to be that you needed a 2.5 GPA. The legislature this year lowered it to 2.0, which is the standard for graduation. If you're an athlete, SB 46, the Fairness in Women's Sports Bill, that would also affect you if you are transgender or if you are a male trying to participate in a female sport. The other opportunities that you may see, the National Music Museum received quite a bit of money to finish renovations as well as update security and stuff like that. So if you're interested in going to the National Music Museum, you'll see changes there. And then I believe that those are the main ones that will affect students next year. In a few years down the line, there was a large sum of money approved for the Wellness Center that will add a new pool for the Wellness Center.
With this upcoming legislative session next year, let's say there's a bill that a student feels really strongly about. How can they go about getting involved, making sure that their voice is heard and contacting their representatives?
So, like you just keyed into, one of the big ways is to get in contact with your representatives. And on the South Dakota Legislators website, there's a big list, there's a big roster. You can even put in your address and it'll tell you who your representatives and senators are. So you can call them, email them. That's probably the easiest way. The second way is to actually come to the session in Pierre. All of the bills, it is public hearings after they get put in committee. So say there's a bill you care about, you can go to the committee meeting, sign in, and you can give your public testimony. And then from there, you can testify in that committee. If it passes, and then it passes the initial chamber, it goes to the other one, you can make your voice heard there. And then it goes to the other floor, either passes or fails. Those are probably the easiest ways to do it. You can also, if you're part of like an organization, you could talk to that organization's lobbyist. And the lobbyists are kind of just, they're doing essentially the same thing, but more behind the scenes work and talking more with the legislators themselves and trying to vie for position on their various bills.
Kyle, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
The South Dakota Legislature will reconvene on Monday for Veto Day. Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Kate Cromer.
Thanks, Kate. Again, Veto Day is on Monday and lasts a full day.
With intramural basketball coming to an end at USD, students are competing for a chance to win the league championship at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. Participants of USD intramurals oversee finding their own team members and schedule practice on their own time if they so choose. Freshman Seth Heitman discusses what makes students so good at running the teams.
There's a good flow of reffing, so that's not just the same people reffing every game. There's some games where they start reffing a certain style, and it's not always the best, but when you have different refs, it makes it, each game's different.
Students interested in joining a team can find where to sign up on the USD website in the Intramurals tab and schedule events on the IM League's website at imleagues.com. Next on Coyote Sports, a glimpse into what the new men's basketball team might look like.
We'll hear from new head coach Eric Peterson. It's happening next on Coyote Sports.
In the United States, approximately 6.3 million animals enter shelters every year. Of those, only 3.2 million will be adopted, and over 920,000 will be euthanized. Help put a stop to animal homelessness, save a life, and rescue your next best friend.
This is Coyote News.
This is Coyote Sports. I'm Hannah Gokenauer. Both Coyote basketball teams are in the news, but for different reasons. The Coyote women are in the Sweet 16, and the Coyote men have a new head coach. The Coyote women's basketball team's off to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament after winning a pair of games in Waco over the weekend. The Coyotes faced off against Ole Miss in the opening round on Friday. The Coyotes started the game off on an 11-2 run lasting over 5 minutes. The Rebels got 2 points in the second quarter, but that was the closest they could get as the Coyotes extended their lead, winning 75-61. In the second round, the Coyotes paired up against the number 2 seeded Baylor Bears. Like the first round, the Coyotes went on a run to start the game, scoring the first 11 points in the contest. The Bears couldn't claw their way back into the game, resulting in a 61-47 Coyote victory. The Coyotes are heading to Wichita to play Michigan in the Sweet 16 on Saturday at 5:30. If the Coyotes win, they play either Louisville or Tennessee in the Elite Eight on Monday. Coyote Athletics parted ways with Coach Todd Lee of the men's basketball team on March 10th. 6 days after Athletic Director David Herbster and President Sheila Gestring introduced Eric Peterson as the next USD men's basketball head coach. Peterson's a Coyote alum and was assistant coach at USD during Craig Smith's tenure, where the Coyotes won their first ever Summit League regular season title during the 2016 and 2017 season. Peterson left with Smith to Utah State, spending 3 years with the Aggies, where they made it to the NCAA tournament after all 3 years winning 2 Mountain West tournament titles in the process. Peterson then left Utah State with Craig Smith, moving to the University of Utah as the Utes went 11-20 last year. The transfer portal has continued to be a popular option for many college athletes. NCAA basketball teams are seeing their players leave more frequently, especially with most teams' seasons coming to a close. Almost 700 college basketball players are currently in the portal. Since Todd Lee left the university, 6 Coyotes have entered the transfer portal: Cannon Coster, Xavier Fuller, Boogie Anderson, Cruz Parohunt, Hunter Goodrick, and most recently, Mason Archambault. Anderson was named on the Summit League's all-defensive team, while Parohunt and Archambault were voted second team All-Summit League. The Coyotes got a familiar face in the transfer portal as UND guard Paul Bruns, a South Dakota native, announced his intentions to transfer to South Dakota. Bruns averaged 14.8 points per game for the Fighting Hawks last year, earning an honorable mention spot in Summit League, and he was named Summit League Freshman of the Year. The Coyotes will continue to add to their roster since Tesos, Teros is the only Coyote on the roster That started more than 2 games in the past year for USD. Coyote News' Landon DeBoer is live in the muck with new head coach Eric Peterson to hear about future plans for the new team. Landon?
Thanks, Hannah. I'm here with the new men's basketball head coach, Eric Peterson. First and foremost, I want to say congratulations and welcome back. With 6 players, as we just learned, with 6 players entering the transfer portal and the Coyotes gaining 1, what are you looking to pursue some of those who have transferred out still, as they can still stay with USD?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Definitely. I mean, one of the things I said in my press conference was my first job here is to re-recruit our players. Got hired when the guys were on spring break. Wasn't able to sit down in an actual meeting with them. So those guys have been in almost every single day, guys that are in the portal, and I always told them that's their right. You can go in the portal. That's why the NCAA created that. So I got to earn their trust. I got to get in the gym with them, show them that I care about them on and off the floor, and we got some work to do. But I think a lot of guys are interested in coming back, but I got to build that relationship over the next couple of weeks to get them back.
And either way, you're going to have some open spots for either transfer players from the transfer portal or first-year players. What do you look for when recruiting a player?
That's a great question. Really good question. Number one, they just have to be a good person. They have to want to be here at South Dakota. It's a different place, and they really have to understand our town and our community and want to be here. Number two, we want guys that are high IQ guys that really understand how to play. If you look at our roster, we have to add more athleticism, and we have to add some more interior players as well. But got to be great kids that want to go to school, that want to be here at South Dakota, but talent as well is really important.
And can you go a little bit into your process specifically about how you go after recruits?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of it's just the connections you built. I've coached college basketball for 17 years, so when you do that, you develop connections along the way that can help you with recruiting. Everywhere we've been, you kind of reach out to those contacts and see who would be a really good fit for what you need. And one of the reasons why we got to re-recruit our players is every piece fits differently. So if we know a guy's coming back, it really changes what we need. Whether it's in the transfer portal, whether it's a junior college kid, whether it's a high school kid still available, everything affects another piece of the puzzle. So building a team is really important. Building a team the right way and balancing the classes is extremely important for us too.
And how do you plan on building with new players and players who are returning? How do you plan on mending them together as a team?
Yeah, so first it just depends who we can get back, right? And we want everybody to come back, but I know that's probably not realistic. And, in probably 5 years, it's going to be normal to have 7 or 8 guys out of your 13 scholarship guys in the transfer portal. And it hasn't become normal yet. But I think just, finding the right fit, if you recruit like-minded guys that all are on the same page, that want to be in the gym, that have the same goals, I think that's really, really important. And, basketball brings people together. I've been part of teams that have had kids from all over the world, different backgrounds, and I think that's the awesome part about my job is being able to recruit all those kids and bring them together.
And finally, are you looking for a rebuilding year, or are you looking to make a run at the Summit League this year?
Yeah, I came here because I thought we had a chance to cut down the nets in Sioux Falls, and that's number one, our goal every single year. We're going to compete at the national level. So I don't look at it as rebuilding. I look at it like we got to get some of our players back that are in the portal, build that trust, and then add the right pieces to them to get us to where we want to go.
Well, thank you, Coach Peterson, and best of luck.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Landon DeBoer.
Thanks, Landon. Coyote News will continue to monitor movements in and out of the transfer portal as Coach Peterson's recruiting progresses. The softball team went 2-9 over the last 2 weeks, putting them 14-12 on the season. The Coyotes got wins against Memphis and Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Notable losses game against Nebraska and Kansas. USD will also schedule to play number 10 Oklahoma State, but the game was canceled due to snow. Elisa Saenz hit 3 home runs and 3 doubles over the 2-week span, driving in 7 runs for the Coyotes. USD will have their home opener this Saturday and Sunday at Nygaard Field, where they will play their first 3 Summit League games against North Dakota State. The track and field team had 2 competitors at the NCAA Indoor Championships in Austin, Texas, 2 weekends ago. Both athletes were pole vaulters, as second-year freshman Eric Hammer represented USD in the men's division and Marlene Mola represented the women's division.
Both Hammer and Mulla were voted second team All-Americans after Hammer finished 11th and Mulla finished 12th. The Coyotes track and field team started their outdoor season today at the Clyde Littlefield Texas Relays in Austin. That's it for Coyote Sports. Coming up, we hear from students of what they might change their major to.
My favorite thing about the International Club is the different events they hold within the school year. My particular favorite is definitely Festival of Nations.
Hey, Charlie. Peace out. Except for you. Wait,
This is Coyote News.
Around 1/3 of students change their major in their college careers, according to the Department of Education.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students what major they would switch to if given the chance.
Here's what they had to say.
I would probably change to a psychology major.
I would change my major to probably psychology.
I don't know. I don't really want to change my major.
I'm a nursing major right now, so I think the closest would probably be like dental hygiene.
I'm a dental hygiene major right now, so I'd probably change it to nursing.
I don't think I would change my major because I don't really like school. So because I'm a business major right now, I'm just doing something that's going to give me quick money.
I wouldn't change it. I'm an elementary education major and I love it.
I'd change it to pre-law or whatever that one is so I could be a lawyer.
Well, I really like my major, but if I was smarter and better at biology, I would do paleontology.
Probably something like artsy.
Med bio, because there's a lot of money in that.
Right now I'm doing pre-PT, and my backup would be like chiropractic or nursing, just because I feel like pre-PT is harder to get into than nursing would be.
Well, Sydney, I've been through enough major changes myself, so I'm just going to be lame here and say I'm just happy sticking where I'm at.
You know, Phil, I'm also happy here in the media and journalism department, but if I could go back and be a little bit smarter, maybe, I'd be a lawyer.
A lawyer? Well, at least I'll know who to call if it comes to that. A New Zealand couple who believed they had dug up on the world's largest potato in the garden of their small farm near Hamilton have had their dreams turned to mash after Guinness World Records wrote to say that scientific testing had found it wasn't, in fact, a potato at all. What they found actually instead was that it was a tuber of a gourd. After months of submitting photos and paperwork, the couple got the bad news from Guinness in an email last week. While it wasn't a potato, the couple told AP that they were determined to grow another next year. That is all for tonight's Coyote News.
For live tweeting of this weekend's Sweet 16 game in Wichita, follow Coyote Radio on Twitter at Coyote Radio 911.
And tune into play-by-play and color commentary of the game on 91.1 KAOR. And stay connected with us on our social media pages. This is Coyote News. Have a great night.